You know when you keep biting the same spot in your cheek and it's like, wait, single biggest flaw of the human body, biologically, when you bite your cheek, don't you think that it would be better if it puffed outwards and like moved away from your teeth instead of getting puffy and expanding and puffing inward towards your mouth, making it so that you're way more likely to keep biting the same exact spot of your cheek? Who designed the mouth? Anyway, hi guys. If you follow my Instagram stories and you watch my kind of daily updates there, you've probably seen some clips of Coco starting her solids journey as we've started introducing purees. I know YouTube is just such a better platform to dive into more detail on exactly what we're doing and how it's all going. So I'm just gonna give you guys the lowdown on her feeding journey so far. So when Coco turned 4 months, we had her 4-month checkup and the pediatrician said it's time to start food. You could start her having 1 puree meal a day, and that can be either like a stage 1 puree. A little bit of background, you'll see this at the grocery store when you look for the baby food labels, but there's stage 1 purees, which are just 1 ingredient. Things like just banana, just mango, just green beans, pumpkin, butternut squash. They have so many options. Stage 2, when their digestive system is a little more developed, I think that's around 6 months, you can start giving them 2 different flavors mixed together. So she recommended the stage 1 purees along with some baby oatmeal cereal. So when she turned 4 months, we first chose 1 stage 1 puree. We gave her that same one for a few days in a row, and then switched to another one and gave her that next one for a few days in a row. I think the first thing we tried was the baby oatmeal cereal, and then we moved on to some of the other purees, like a fruit or vegetable. We also did make a few purees at home, but I genuinely like the jarred purees that come from the store, whether it's Gerber or Beech Nut or Happy Baby Organics. There's like so many brands and so many options. I like buying from the brands because those people are the experts in baby food, and they're buying the baby food when it's at peak level of nutrients, and they know properly, like the amount of testing these brands have done to know exactly how to steam the carrot before it's pureed so that there's actually a nutritional punch in the pouch. It's probably way better than if I were to boil a carrot at home and then try to puree it myself. Don't get me wrong, I've tried to do it myself a few times and I have done it, but I'm just a big fan of the store-bought stuff for the 4-month-old feeding. When she becomes 6 months, that's when we are going to move on to more of the classic baby-led weaning stuff where we're going to be offering solids, obviously appropriately cut and served for her age. And for that, I will be following Solid Starts. It's my favorite app. It has a whole database of how to properly cut and prepare and serve food for babies. And I can get more into that when she's 6 months. But for now, we've just been giving her 1 meal a day. Usually we do it right before her bath time. So she's hungry because she hasn't had her nighttime bottle yet, but she's not starving. It's kind of like in the middle of her last 2 bottles. We set her up in this upseat. Don't come at me. We've been putting her on the countertop, which is not really a safe place for the upseat, but we absolutely never leave her unattended. There's always 2 or 3 people around her, like our nanny's there usually when we do this. I want to get into a little bit about how I have been giving her the food, because I remember with Milo, we used to scoop the food and just put it in his mouth for him. He would sit there with his hands down and he would just open his mouth and eat it. And he wasn't showing any signs of reaching for it or trying to grab it. And this is just a classic example of every single baby is so different, and you kind of have to follow your own baby's cues when it comes to feeding. A lot of my friends talk about how their babies, some at 7 or 8 months, are showing no signs of being interested in food or holding a spoon themselves or anything like that. And Coco at 4 months doesn't want me to put food in her mouth. She wants to grab the spoon herself. All I do is I scoop it into the puree and I load it up for her, and then I hand it to her. She's not at the stage yet where I could load it up and put it on the table and she grabs it. I think if she tried to do that, she's still kind of picking it up backwards and not really coordinated enough to pick it up from the table. But when I hold it in the air like this, she reaches for it and grabs it and puts it right to her mouth. And she wants to feed herself. If I try to feed her, she gets incredibly fussy and is like pushing her head away, but you could see her hands reaching in the air for the spoon. And I've actually started doing this thing where I take 2 spoons, because when I tell you this girl is an eating monster, like she wants to eat so fast that if I had one spoon, I wouldn't be able to get it all done fast enough for her. So I have 2 spoons when I'm feeding her. I give her 1 spoon, she's sucking on it. While she's sucking on it, I load up the other spoon. And as soon as I hold that other spoon up for her, she drops the first spoon and grabs the second spoon and starts going. And then I have to frantically grab the first spoon and reload it for her. And she's not just dropping the spoon to grab the other one. Sometimes she's like throwing it out of the way and grabbing the next one. And it's pretty hilarious watching her eat.
Your ears?
Yeah, my
Oh, the sound. Is it coming out of your ears?
More.
Is it coming out of your toes?
No.
Is it coming out of your mouth?
Yeah.
Yeah. So our mouth is like the speaker of our bodies.
And it really is. Like every time I watch her eat, it's a classic reminder for me of how different every kid is and how when it comes to starting solids, you just need to see what they're interested in and let them go based on that. The whole point of introducing solids to a 4-month-old, it's not really at this stage for the nutritional benefit, but rather it's all about the sensory experience of introducing them to flavors, and it's good to get them starting to put things in their mouth and moving their tongue, and especially with the spoon, putting things like a spoon in their mouth and realizing that if they put it too far, they're gonna gag.
Shove it in.
She loves it. She's gagging a little because she's shoving it in far. But she's okay. And she sees the next, she drops the spoon, and she goes in for more. Oh, she threw the spoon that time.
It's like mouth mapping, coordination, and just sensory experience. And in my opinion, getting messy is a huge part of it. And I think allowing your kid to get messy at the table in those early days is such a good way to get them comfortable with eating and trying different textures and tastes, and knowing that the table is just like a comfortable, free, fun space to explore. And it's so important to me that I'm not always sitting there wiping them off, because you see how a kid reacts when you reach over to them with the towel and try to wipe them off. You know, they like lean back and they're like, don't touch me. And I can just imagine if you start off from, day 1 of your baby's feeding journey, always wiping them off at the table and making them annoyed. I'm sure sitting down at the table for them is going to become kind of a stressful experience and an anxiety-inducing experience of I'm about to be wiped and maneuvered and touched, and I just want to sit here and play. And so I really don't touch her, and I let her get extremely messy at the table. And I think that's so important and such a great way to introduce kids to purees and solid food, and just leave them, let them get messy. I know it's really disgusting, but just put them in the bath right after and leave them. If that means not doing this when you're out and about because it's way too messy, I totally hear you. Like when we went on vacation and we brought Coco to dinner, I was spoon feeding her to her mouth while someone held her on her lap, and I did not let her grab the spoon because I don't want her to get messy when I don't have access to a bath. But when we're at home, by all means, go ham, Coco. It is just funny because when my parents came over, my dad was watching how we fed her, and he was like, do you know when you were little, we used to just take the spoon and put it in your mouth and it was all clean?
You didn't want it. No, Coco gets to take her spoon when she's ready. She moves it to her mouth, moving
Look
the
at her,
food.
she's just smearing it on her chin.
It's okay.
She's not even getting
You
it.
can swipe it off and give it to
Okay,
her
good.
then.
I'm not arguing. Go. She looks very happy.
I know.
Looks very messy, but very happy.
She loves it.
There's just been so much more research that's come out since I was little. And there's so much more data about how introducing food and solids to babies in this way is so much more beneficial for creating a comfortable, happy eating environment, reducing picky eaters, just so much data. So I'm following the data on this one. I'm not just doing it how it was done in the past. I will definitely keep you guys updated as we transition to solid food, which is going to be coming next month, because now Coco's 5 months. And she seems so ready. She's already starting to sit up and be able to hold herself up and use her core without someone holding her. So I know we'll be ready to start solids any minute. And in other news, she said mama. I'm not remembering at all how old Milo was when he first said mama. I don't think it was 5 months. And I'm pretty confident she's not saying it and knowing that that's my name. I think she's just repeating the sound. But it definitely isn't just randomly like babbling. It's like I will say to her, Coco, say mama, and then she will say it. So I'm gonna take it as her first word has been said. I'm gonna take the win on that one.
Coco, mama.
Mama.
I told you.
Say it again. These are the absolute best candies in the world, and I'm physically incapable of seeing these at the checkout line when I'm buying something and not buying them. I can't. Gluten-free and vegan, they're so good. Okay. You know when like the under parts of your eyes here get so dry that they start to get itchy, and then they start to get red, and then they start to look not like crusty, but just like dry and red. Oh my gosh, that candy is hurting my tooth. You know what I'm talking about with the under eyes, and I think it happened from our recent trip. I think I maybe didn't apply enough sunscreen and it got like burnt, and then it was dry and red and itchy, and the only thing I can think to put under there is Aquaphor, but I feel like that's like globby and also kind of uncomfortable to sleep in because it's so wet. So does anyone have an eye cream recommendation? I don't know, like specifically for itchy, almost as if you had eczema under your eyes. If you've got any suggestions, this area is just itchy and red and not doing too well. Do you know what holds a very special place in my heart? Sitcoms. Something about sitting down and tuning in to watch your favorite show where you know the characters, you know all of their traits and their quirks, you know the places where they're gonna be, you know what their home looks like. You just feel comfortable sitting down and watching, knowing it's always gonna be light, it's always gonna be enjoyable, you're gonna laugh, and you're gonna hear the collective audience's laugh at the same time. Something about that laugh track just gets me. It makes us realize that everyone's kind of going through a collective experience here, and none of us are alone in some of our most ridiculous or awkward moments of life. In fact, when we realize that everyone else is laughing at it, damn, we are one. So I thought, what if my vlog was a sitcom? You guys already know my house. Hopefully it feels comforting to you. Would it be funny if I added a laugh track to my vlog? I have no idea, but we're about to find out. I've been thinking a lot recently about how at age, what am I? 33? 32, I'm only 32. I very much still feel like a kid. I've been thinking about a handful of things that my parents did when I was little, that I would observe them doing, that I think I always thought when I'm an adult, I will do those things. But now the time has come, here we are, I'm an adult, I have children, and somehow I'm still not doing these things. Knowing how to cook rice. My parents always did it. Every time I go to cook rice, I have to read the package. And it still always sticks to the bottom of the pot. I feel like that was something I just figured that I would figure out. But I haven't figured it out. There are actually a lot of examples of things revolving around the kitchen. Figuring out how to have a fully stocked fridge all the time. When I was a child, I would go into our fridge and our pantry, and it was just like a functioning household. Always food to grab, always leftovers, always new prepared stuff. The cheese drawer, the meats, the condiments, the sauces, fully stocked at all times, and then the snack cabinet was heaven. As an adult now, I go to the grocery store. I mean, I feel like I do a pretty good job at grocery shopping and prepping food for our family, yet still, 3 out of 5 days in the work week, I open the fridge and I feel like there is nothing in there. I don't get it. How did they do that? Did I do that right? I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what I'm doing. Another note on the kitchen, somehow my parents always remembered to take frozen meats out of the freezer to let them defrost before it was time to cook them. I'm over here at 5 p.m. going through the fridge trying to figure out what to eat and realizing that all of my meats are in the freezer. Another thing that my parents always did that I just kind of thought like that's an adult thing, I'm sure I'll do that one day, but I absolutely do not, is use expressions like 2:15. It's 3:45. No, it's 3:45. Never in my life would I say it's 3:45. It just doesn't roll off the tongue. Wait, I've been wanting to show you guys this mascara, Dime Beauty. Just watch how good this mascara is. Ready? I'm gonna be good and curl my lashes first to show you. Do you guys see that? I'm not like a one and done person. I definitely go over it a few times, but look at how tall it is. Isn't that so pretty? Another thing is knowing absolutely everything about history. And I do have a theory on this one. I feel like my parents knew everything about like the Vietnam War and all these geopolitical things. And I realize now that the things they knew a lot about were the things that were going on when they were young. And so I guess the equivalent would be like me being very well versed on topics like 9/11 or what happened over COVID, which I feel like I do know pretty well. But don't ask me about the Cold War. I think I'm gonna do a slick bun today with no product. My hair is so dirty. Guys, this postpartum hair loss is next level. Am I doing this right? Oh God. I like when these buns are not perfectly sleek, like when there's like a little hair sticking out. Like this. I gotta look really fancy today. Found a gray hair.